was to play senior footy, league footy, and I think every little kid that plays footy always wants to make it.
6 weeks ago, John Georgiou's dream came true. Not only was he selected to play for St Kilda in their game against Adelaide, but he was one of the rare few to make the big time, aged just 16 and still in high school.
And he will be out to help John Georgiou, the latest teenage sensation, to make the big time.
Heady stuff for someone so young. But it didn't take long for Georgiou to realise senior league football is a tough old ball game, both on and off the field.
I mean, I wasn't scared, I wasn't afraid of the other guys and that, but the pressure was the scariest thing. Like, all the attention I got, I wasn't expecting any of that, and it was just the pressure to sort of play well the first game and that.
And Georgiou did play well in not just 1 but 3 games for St Kilda. But then the cold hard realities of the big time hit home. Georgiou was dropped from the team for the game against Geelong.
Yeah, it is hard to take at the time, but you sort of, I suppose that's the up and downs of it, and you've got to sort of, I suppose that could be a judge of how good you really are if you can come back from it, and I suppose they're probably looking for that in me as well.
That's a lot of pressure for such young shoulders, something not lost on former Hawthorn and St Kilda player Peter Russo, who just happens to be Georgiou's phys ed teacher at St Bede's College in Melbourne.
Well, Alan Jeans used to say it's a game of disappointments, and it is, and it doesn't matter how long you play or how successful a career you have, along the way there are many, many disappointments, and they're hard times, and they're the ones that you've got to be able to cope with. As I said, everyone wants to know a winner. You don't have too many friends when things aren't going too well, and that's one of the big things that John and any other young player has to learn to cope with.
Tim Watson also had a crash course in coping when he was selected to play for Essendon at just 15, making him the second youngest ever, after Collingwood's Keith Bromwich, to play in the senior league.
The best advice that I could give him would be to just set small goals along the way. He's going to take time to mature as a player. He's still very young, and he shouldn't set his goals too high. They should be set so that they can be achieved. And he's done a very good job so far to be able to play league football at that age. So I think that as long as he sort of keeps everything in perspective, that's probably the best advice I could give him.
A lot for young Georgiou to think about, but if it worries him, he's not letting on to his mates.
Yeah, that's the good thing about John. Like, yeah, if you want to know something about football or about what he does, you have to ask him about it. Like, he'll never tell you.
Training last Thursday night, and it's now 6 weeks since Georgiou was first selected and 2.5 since he was dropped. Whether he plays this week in the game against Sydney won't be announced until he, like the rest of Australia, reads it in Friday's paper. How'd you go, John?
No, it looks like I'm in the 2s. Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It's not too bad, it's alright, but a little bit disappointed, but that's the way it goes.
Why do you think you didn't make it this week?
Oh, well, I suppose because I had a good win last week and, everyone played pretty well, so there's no real reason to make changes, and the only change is Frankie Coughlin, who's ill, so, yeah.
Looking good for this year's finals, it could be a long wait before Georgiou again makes that leap into the big time. But with its incredible highs and devastating lows, there's no doubt it's been an incredible 6 weeks for young John Georgiou.
To sort of play well, be with the best, with the elite, like especially at my age, you're sort of playing with your, guys you sort of admire and that, Lockett and Lowe, you've got posters of them up in your room, so to play next to them, it's just, something else.
You can see where they come from, don't you, those young champions, the love he has for the game. John Georgiou, 16 years of age, with a very bright future in front of him at Moorabbin and St Kilda.